and the Establish the Run co-founders, Adam Levitin and Evan Silva. I want to thank you, the listener.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code Radio50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Darius Franklin, the 6'1", 270-pound 2021 offensive lineman, has earned an invite to play in the Blue-Gray All-American Game, an event that will be played December 14th at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Franklin was a key piece of the offensive line that paved the way for an average of 335 yards per game for the Washington Wildcats' turnaround season last year. But Franklin isn't just focused on playing D1 football. With a 3.5 GPA, he plans to study mechanical engineering in college. And while Franklin was able to participate in the Combine, Milton's Trevor Lunsford took a far different approach. Lunsford was unable to participate in football-related activities from January through May while he was recovering from his shoulder surgery. However, last week, Lunsford got quite the surprise. "I came home and my mom told me I had something waiting for me on the counter, but it was a letter from Blue-Gray Football. Sure enough, it was an invite to the All-American Game." He was the P&J All-Area Defensive Newcomer of the Year in 2018 and an All-Area pick in 2019. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Chapter Leonte here, the Sports Drive. Today's Believe to Achieve moment. We look at Tate High School, Molino's own Don Sutton. Before being a broadcaster for the Atlanta Braves, worked 23 years as a pitcher in the Bigs with 324 wins. Don grew up in Molino, just wanting to play ball, as he talked about in his Hall of Fame speech.
My first glove, and it was great that I could bump into him here, was a George Kell three-finger model that my dad traded a Red Ryder Daisy air rifle for. The first baseball I ever had was a fishing cork wrapped in twine and covered with friction tape. The first bat I had was an Al Rosen model. It had more nails in it than a lot of houses in the area, but I was playing baseball. And it didn't matter to me if I was throwing against the chimney or against the garage or throwing against the barn, I was playing baseball. If you're going into baseball, there are going to be a lot of people better than you. Don't ever let anybody outwork you. And I didn't.
Now that's a speech here in the South that I think a lot of old-time baseball players can relate to. Thanks, Don.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, treat her to a gift card from Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Follow Stillwater's on Facebook or Instagram to enter contests and win great prizes. Or visit swmedspa.com.
I returned from combat duty in a wheelchair, but it turns out many apartment buildings can't accommodate me. I fought for freedom and thought I'd be free to choose where I live.
After the phone interview, we assumed the apartment was ours.
But when we showed up, the manager said no longer available.
The only way to stop housing discrimination is to report it. Visit HUD.gov/fair housing or call 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
This is Tort Talk with personal injury lawyer Terrence A. Gross.
Hi, this is Terrence A. Gross. Lawyers like doctors specialize these days. You wouldn't go to a cardiologist for knee surgery or a gastro doctor for neck surgery. Therefore, if you are injured in a car accident, you should choose a law firm that specializes in personal injury law. At Gross & Schuster, all 4 lawyers have limited their practices to representing accident victims against insurance companies.
Visit grossandschuster.com.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brillante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Welcome in to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson on this Labor Day Monday afternoon. Hopefully you're having a great Labor Day weekend here, finishing it off, obviously, Monday. We appreciate everybody tuning in, by the way. But whatever you're out there doing, whether you're listening to us in your garage, maybe having a cold drink, and don't know what you drink, just saying cold drink, could be anything. Whether you're at the beach, whatever it is, out doing some yard work, maybe catching up on some things, family time, whatever it is, we appreciate you guys tuning into this show. Hopefully you're safe. And, look, we have a ton to talk about. We finally got some college football back this weekend. We got the NFL starting up this Thursday with Houston and Kansas City. Look, we got some football tonight. BYU and Navy will play. Boy, it is it's finally getting here. Now, obviously, things can change. We understand that, but football is on its way back, and we're so happy it's here. So, look, before we get started, as we always start off every show, I think it's very important, regardless of what is going on in our country right now, I want to make this very clear. We think our first responders and healthcare workers, look, what these folks are going through, what they go through each and every day in their jobs is crazy. I mean, it really is. These folks put themselves on the front lines each and every day out there. We are so grateful for them. And like I said, look, there's obviously some unrest in this country. We don't support evil people or wrongdoing people, make that clear. But we are so gracious and awesome and blessed to live in a city that has so many great police officers, firefighters, EMT personnel, nurses, doctors, you name it. We thank all those folks out there. And don't let a couple bad folks ruin it for everybody. So we have so many great ones that are busting their tail out there for us every single day, and we thank them so much. But look, real quick, grocery store employees, truck drivers, all the essential workers out there, thank you guys as well. And folks, not a political statement. I have to say that every day just to make sure. But please throw a mask on when you're out and about. If you're around other people, it's not just about you. It's about everybody in this. Look, our cases have gone down. We're starting to get, bend that curve a little bit. It's good news, but we're not there yet. You understand what happened last time. We beat it, and then it came back. Anything can happen, but like I said, if you're going into a business, don't make it any harder on those workers. They don't want to follow these protocols any more than you do. So, look, we're all in this together. We're going to beat this thing. And like I said, we're getting some football back. But, look, first things first, Coach, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well. Good to be with you here on a Labor Day weekend. Hope everybody's enjoying it and sticking by the rules, protocols that you just mentioned. And again, I second our gratitude and your thanks that go out to all the people that you talked about. We have to say that every week, and I hope that they hear us and understand that we truly mean it.
Absolutely. And, Coach, we've talked about it before. We could talk about those guys for hours upon hours, but you know what? I'm sure right now they want to hear some football and what's going on because we're getting football back. We've had some college football. Obviously, last week was South Alabama and Southern Miss on Thursday. We got a little taste of it. UAB and Central Arkansas as well. Don't want to offend the UAB fans, but this weekend we got some games, some good games. Some games that, look, it was a bit of a blowout, maybe surprising if you're a certain fan. But, hey, look, 3 days until the NFL opening game right there with Houston and Kansas City, 5 days until Florida State takes on Georgia Tech, and 19 days until SEC football. We're well on our way, and you know what, Coach? Talking about some of the games this weekend, obviously, won't spend much time on this game, but Marshall beating Eastern Kentucky 59-0. No, not a big surprise there. Look, Army, Middle Tennessee. This was a game that I was very intrigued with coming into it, and I left going, what just happened? And look, Middle Tennessee is a good football team. Brent Stockstill was the quarterback there, and that the coach's son for quite some time. A really, really good quarterback and a good team. Remember Frank Peasant, the young man that played running back there at Escambia, as the backup running back on that team. He didn't get a ton of playing time, which I thought maybe he should have, but hey, it is what it is. Coach, when you look at Army, though, how about Army? Coming out of the gates, I love the service academies, and I tell you what, they were fun to watch, but this is something that is interesting. Coach, when you look at college football, a lot of these teams came out rusty. We'll talk about SMU in a minute as well, but a team like Army, they do one thing, and they do it really well, and obviously it played to their advantage, but how'd you like that Army Middle Tennessee State game?
Yeah, that was impressive. There's no doubt about it. I think you're right. And, of course, Army had an advantage there in that you don't have to have 2 months of practice to get ready with their offense. But I'll tell you what looked good, in addition to their offensive strategy, was the physical ability that they displayed. I mean, they totally controlled that football game. From a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint, it was total devastation. Now, let me tell you what I think was what jumped off the TV to me were the excellent passing games by quarterbacks this past weekend. The kid at Marshall, my goodness, what a night he had. The first half that he really rivaled Joe Burrow in what he accomplished. He really looked good throwing the football, and as did the kid on the other side. They both threw the football well, but the kid from Marshall was just outstanding. I think his name is White, but he, he's going to be a good one. He's just a freshman, I think. I think he was a highly recruited freshman who started for him. Also, some other good games throwing the football that I saw during the weekend. I thought quarterbacks did a good job, and people had done a very good job, coaches, in getting their teams prepared to do some fairly complicated things early in the season. But it was impressive. It really was with those schools. We didn't see SEC or ACC or Big Ten or any of those type schools play. But we saw some good football for the first week, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Grant Wells, the young man you're talking about, redshirt freshman there, first start coming in. His hometown is right there at Charleston, West Virginia. You're right. Look, the young man was phenomenal, by the way. 16 to 23 for 307 and 4 touchdowns. By the way, a couple of those incompletions were drop passes. They called off the dogs early. That's the thing. The score, you look at it and you go, yeah, right. No, they did call off the dogs quite early. They just overpowered Eastern Kentucky. So, look, you're right. I think we got some good football. Here's the thing. I mean, you go through and you look at North Texas versus Houston Baptist. Look, North Texas came out. And for teams, this is tough. People need to understand for some of this going, well, there's a lot of mistakes. Yes, but remember, they didn't have spring. The practices have changed. So it's going to take a little more time for some of these teams. You look at a team like Memphis taking down Arkansas State. By the way, Arkansas State's not a bad team, but Memphis and Brady White coming out just did a phenomenal job. This is post-Mike Norvell era. So Brady White comes out 26 of 36 for 275 and 4 touchdowns. What you said was perfect. The passing games looked pretty darn good, and that's a big-time positive. Coach, looking at SMU and Texas State, now SMU's got a lot of intrigue with Sonny Dykes over there. Obviously, quarterback Shane Buechele has a lot of hype. A lot of people believe that, he has the possibility of going in the first 3 rounds in the NFL draft. Well, we'll see. He's got a lot to prove. Now, he's played very well. He went 26 of 36 for 367 yards, a touchdown with 2 picks. Those mistakes were key mistakes and kept Texas State in this ballgame. Coach, when you look at a team, and I'm not going to ask you specifically on SMU, but when you look at a team that struggles week 1, does that worry you at all? I mean, just because of everything that's going on, each team is going through different protocols. Each team has lost different players and had to go through this and that. Are you worried at all? And this goes on to, we're starting ACC football this week. are you going to be worried if a team comes out and just doesn't play very well week one?
Well, it depends on what they do in the way of mistakes. How many? You expect some mistakes week one. You expect maybe some lack of intensity that you're going to get later on, but not much. And it concerns you to a certain extent, JP, but it's hard to quantify just what you mean by dissatisfaction, because you know the kids. If you're familiar with the kids themselves, you know your football team, you know the team you're going to play, and you know what the tolerance level is for mistakes. At some point, mistakes are going to kill you. If you make mistakes, if you should have won the football game, you feel like you got better personnel, and you made mistakes, and you lost the football game, then you're terribly disappointed. But if you win the football game, still make some first game mistakes, and know that you're going to get better, knowing your kids, knowing they're going to buckle down and improve, then you're not as disappointed. So you really have to, detail just what situation you're talking about. But I think your premise is well taken and it's right. Just how much value do you place on being mistake-free first game of the year? And you have to be very careful with it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people have asked me. Hey, look, this team didn't look good. And SMU, obviously, a lot of people are like, whoa, they did not play very well. Well, it's different for each team. So you're absolutely right. To what extent, the mistakes and things like that. So, look, we've gotten college football back. We're finishing up the week here. Coach, BYU at Navy, this is awesome, by the way. With everything that's gone on in 2020, to have a Monday, a Labor Day game here starting the season. BYU at Navy. Obviously, BYU is a intriguing team. By the way, they've lost their senior tight end, Matt Bushman, who is a phenomenal player. Now, they do get back Zach Wilson, who is a really good quarterback. Of course, they get him back from injury after last year. This is a BYU team that can throw the football around, but losing that tight end plays a big-time role in the way that offense is going to go. Coach, when you look at this, by the way, the game is at 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. BYU is a 1.5-point favorite. I look at the service academies again week one. Now, I love the way Army came out, and once again, the service academies do one thing. They do it very well, and good luck stopping them. They're just going to continue to come after you, and they're going to wear you down. When you look at Navy, obviously they're replacing Malcolm Perry, which is never easy. The young man had over 2,000 yards last year and was tied for first with 21 rushing touchdowns. We understand how Navy quarterbacks and how that goes in that triple option style. But Dalen Morris takes over at quarterback. He won the job, obviously. Look, it seems every couple of years Navy's got a new quarterback. It doesn't seem to change a whole lot here. Now, Coach, when you look at Navy versus BYU and the intrigue here, BYU's a 1.5-point favorite, but I'm going to lean towards Navy. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout like the Army Middle Tennessee State game because I do believe BYU is a talented team. But, Coach, are you leaning towards Navy or BYU in a matchup week one?
Well, it's an interesting question. To me, I think you've got to give the edge to BYU for this reason. Yes, it's difficult to play against a triple option team. Now, it's especially difficult if they get you in a trap game situation, meaning that you just had to play against a number of teams, a couple of traditional type offenses before, and a couple of traditional or passing offenses, and afterwards you got to get ready for, and they're in between all that with that triple option, that wishbone type offense. That's double trouble because you only have like 3 days to get ready for something you don't see. Now, having an off season, there's no excuse for that. You know what Navy runs. You've got all types of film on them. If they've got any defensive strategy coaching going on at all, they should have had ample time to be ready for them defensively. Now, if they can't stop them, that's physical. You can't stop them, or coaching. You don't have the strategy to handle the triple option, because that's what it is, a true triple option, and which makes it even more difficult to handle. So I think I would rather have the off season to get ready for a triple option team than having them in the middle of the season and having them as a trap game to have to get ready for in 3 days. So that, and I think BYU, I think you're right. I think with the quarterback coming back this year, and I think BYU is prepared, always prepared to throw the football pretty well. And they're going to be a pretty good offensive football team. So depends on what they've done defensively. And if they haven't done a good enough job defensively, then shame on them. Their coaching staff has done a poor job.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Both these teams, by the way, pretty much having their schedules just trampled on because of obviously, some like the SEC playing conference only, and ACC only doing one game outside. Big 12, same thing. Pac-12 and Big 10 postponing, and a lot of other conferences postponing. So both these teams have had to basically reschedule their entire schedules on this. So it's going to be interesting when you look at Zach Wilson, though. That's the young man at BYU. Keep an eye on him tonight. Coming back from injury, he is a talented individual. But here's one thing to note. The BYU defense last year, they can be run over. I mean, they will give up a lot in the run game. But will that be the case this year? If it is, Navy could have a field day. But once again, new Navy quarterback coming in week 1. Everything going on with COVID, there's so many different things that are in place here. No matter what, it is going to be BYU taking on Navy tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. So there you go. You got some more football on your Labor Day. Hopefully you're having a great Labor Day. But look, we got to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about all the roster cuts, the signings. And remember, rosters went down to 53 here in the NFL. We'll break it down for you and what's going on right now across the college football world as well when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Chad Berliante here with the Sports Drive, checking in on the AP Top 25 preseason poll in college football. The Clemson Tigers opened the season at number 1, followed by Ohio State at 2 and Alabama at 3. 7 teams out of the SEC made the top 25, and 4 in the top 10, with Alabama 3, Georgia 4, LSU 6, and Florida number 8. 9 teams out of the Big Ten and Pac-12 made it, but only for the preseason, without playing in 2020. And FSU still a little work to go, with 6 top 25 votes.
Hey, this is Jay Williams. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Labor Day Monday. Appreciate you guys joining us on the show, whatever you're doing out there. Hope you're having a great day, staying safe, obviously. Look, Coach, when you look at everything that's gone on in the NFL, the past 48 hours, it seems, has been crazy, cutting these rosters down. We've seen the Patriots cut 2 kickers and sign them to their practice squad. We've seen big-name players like Adrian Peterson be let go, and now it seems he may be signing with a new team. Jadeveon Clowney is now signed. We'll talk about all this, and looks an interesting move the Saints tried to pull off as well, and the Dolphins naming their starter as well as the Bears. We'll get into all that in a second. Starting off here, Coach, I want to talk about Adrian Peterson. Now, obviously, he got let go from the Washington football team. Right now, an AP source has said that he has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions for $1 million with some incentives in there. He can make more than that. But, Coach, when you look at this move, obviously we talked about Adrian Peterson. This is a guy that's rushed for almost 2,000 yards the past 2 seasons. He is getting up there at age 35, almost 36 years old. He has been a heck of a back. Just a strong veteran presence that he brings. He can still play a little bit. Coach, when you look at the move here, now remember they drafted DeAndre Swift. They also have Kerryon Johnson, the young man from Auburn right there. So he adds even more depth to that running back position, which I believe DeAndre Swift will end up taking the majority of the carries here. But now with Adrian Peterson, I think this is going to be a pretty much split backfield, which may be good news for the Lions, bad news for fantasy football fans. But, Coach, what do you think about AP signing with the Detroit Lions? Good move or bad move on their part?
Well, depends on their personnel and how they feel they are equipped to go into the season and handle all the situations. My guess is that there are certain situations that they feel they need a number one, a more experienced power back for certain down distance situations, and most importantly, JP, an older back who is aware of protections. You can break down there quicker than any place at any time during a ball game. And if you break down at the wrong time, it could mean the end of your quarterback being hurt for the season. You cannot let somebody come clean and just scout the quarterback. You've got to have a big back who knows what he's doing. And against some of these complicated dogs and blitzes, they come from all angles, all types of delays and things that confuse younger backs. Younger backs, number one, can't identify all the things that are going on up there defensively. It takes a pro that's been around and has seen it and can translate the calls from the quarterback and know what to look for and know how to anticipate delays. There's a certain feel for the game that you have to effectively complement the passing game with dog and blitz pickup. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to maybe a number of our people out there in the audience listening, but it is so valuable and so necessary that you protect that quarterback that you have. If they're not certain about the younger backs that they have in pickup, either from a physical standpoint, meaning it's hard for them to get across the technique needed to stop a big linebacker coming full speed ahead at the line of scrimmage, or the willingness to learn what it takes to know where they're coming from and let somebody come clean. If they've got some doubt about that, then this is a good pickup for them. If for nothing else, in certain passing situations where you're not going to hop the back, where you need him in there for protection, get him in the ball game. So that's what I would see as being the strategic move as to why they would pick up a back at his age and bring him in. He can also act as a mentor to your younger backs if he's got the right approach mentally to the game of football itself. So anyway, those are reasons. They sound a little abstract to some, but believe me, they're important.
Yeah, that's an extremely big time point that I don't hear anybody talking about is the ability to pick up the coverages. And you talk about, look, a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who has done nothing but perform every single year. This is a Lions team that has underperformed, but go back and look at Matthew Stafford. He's done a great job there. It's just unfortunate that they haven't been able to build a team around him. This is a young man, that, by the way, that had broken bones in his back last year and was trying to play through it. So this is a good team on offense, especially when you look at it. Matt Patricia's got to figure out what they're going to do on defense, but I like the move too. I'm a big fan of it. I like Adrian Peterson as what you were talking about. A guy that's going to come in, he's going to give you some reps. Obviously, he's going to give you that leadership, and we know how important it is, especially with some of that young talent they got. Like I said, DeAndre Swift coming over in the draft from Georgia, that's a big pickup for them. So it'll be interesting. Lions fans, I can't tell you if it's going to get better, but you know what? That is a solid pickup, especially for $1 million too. Coach, look, we finally figured it out with everything going on. The young man wouldn't answer people's phone calls. He wanted $21 million at one point. Then he bumped it down and said he wanted $19 million. Well, he signed for, about $12 million here. Now, 1-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. I have mixed feelings about this coach, obviously. Mike Vrabel was one of his coaches over there when he was in Houston. He wanted to play for some people that he knew, coaches that he knew. Not a big surprise here. But 1 year, $12 million deal. The Titans had a little more cap space, so they could afford this deal. The Seahawks and the Saints tried to get him. It didn't happen. But even more, before we get to the whole Jadeveon Clowney signing with the Titans, I want to throw this over there, Coach. Just a bizarre. I had to read this so many different times. The New Orleans Saints were trying to get Jadeveon Clowney. They didn't have the cap space that obviously some of these other teams like Seattle and the Tennessee Titans did. So basically, they were trying to pay or send him. They wanted him. And bear with me, people, when I go through this because it is just so odd. They were going to go ahead and let him be traded to Tennessee. Tennessee pays his signing bonus, and then Tennessee trades him back to the Saints so that the Saints will pay his salary and not have to pay his signing bonus because they don't have that much money in the tank. And then the Saints would send over a draft pick. So essentially it would be Tennessee paying for a draft pick, which is not necessarily in the NFL's legality here. So, Coach, first off, before we even get to Jadeveon Clowney, have you ever heard of a team trying to pull something off like that before?
Oh, yeah, I sure have, and it's been stopped each time. There are all types of minutia that goes on. Believe me, these guys can come up with a myriad of different scenarios where they can skirt the rules and get somebody on their football team. Some of it is delayed. I remember, I won't say who, but they caught one team years ago now, and they had a deal cooked up, a genius deal, but they could where they would not have to compensate the other team for at least a year down the road, in other words, until the next year. So nothing was immediate or obvious, and they thought they would get away with it that way. But didn't work. So anyway, yes, I've heard of it before, and I'm not surprised that they tried to get something done like this. They give credit. I mean, if you don't try, nothing's going to happen. So you got to try to do what you can do with the money you have available.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it can't hurt to try. The worst you can, hear somebody say, worst you can get is a no there. So hey, but when you look at the Tennessee Titans, remember Jeffrey Simmons comes back, the young man at Mississippi State, their first-round pick a few years ago. They've got Daquan Jones there on that line. They also have in the linebackers position Harold Landry, Rashaan Evans. We've had him on the show before. Jayon Brown, Jadeveon Clowney's there now, Adoree Jackson, Kenny Vaccaro, Kevin Byard, and Malcolm Butler. Coach, when you look at this defense, and by the way, they still have Christian Fulton that they drafted out of LSU right there, as well as Vic Beasley. Don't know what's going to happen with Vic Beasley, but we'll see. But regardless, he's over here, and he's a talented individual if he can get his head on straight. But, Coach, I know, obviously you have some ties to Tennessee Titans over there. Look, I think this helps the defense, obviously. It's not going to hurt bringing in Jadeveon Clowney necessarily as long as he can stay, keep his problems out of the locker room, but we all know what that can mean. But, Coach, from your sources with the Tennessee Titans, what are your thoughts on this move, and do you believe that this enhances or helps the defense for the Tennessee Titans?
Yes, I certainly do. And you know what the key to it is here? I'm not sure it would help if they had signed him to a 10-year contract or a 5-year contract or any length of time. But he's on a 1-year deal, which means you better show what you can do. Now, you were disappointed tremendously this year because you felt like you should have had a bigger contract and people coming after you. Well, you saw that was not the truth. You're lucky to be here playing for a team that's in contention with one of your former coaches. And if he had not taken you in, believe me, there's some behind the scenes something going on, because having coached the young man before and not bringing him on would have signified there's really something wrong here. So he got all that squared away. He's with a good football team. He's with a coach. He knows the system pretty much. And he's on a 1-year contract, so he's got to go do it. And I would say this is a pretty good deal for Tennessee.
Yeah, the $12 million, I was so worried about paying, $17, $18 million. There was even a rumor that he had still wanted $21 million, which, hey, so do I. But you know what? Look, I thought it was a good move. I'm still skeptical on how it's going to work out, but I think that's a great point. He is significantly a lot lower than what he wanted to be paid. So here, you got 1 year. You're with a good team, by the way. You're not with a team you're with a team that made the playoffs last year and is looking to make a Super Bowl run. We'll see what happens. But it's a good defense. It's a solid defense. So you're just in there he should look good this year, but he's got to go out and play. He's got to stay healthy, obviously coming off that core surgery. This is going to be a lot of fun. For me, I'm excited, but I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic with the signing here. So I don't think this puts us necessarily over the top, but it could at the same time. So look, as a Tennessee Titan fan, I know nobody cares about all that, but I got a little sparkle in my eye now. So we'll see what happens. But Coach, when we come back here, we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about the Dolphins naming their quarterback. Is it Tua or is it Ryan Fitzpatrick? Well, it may not surprise you who they named. And then we'll talk about Matt Nagy as well, naming his quarterback, which a lot of people go, here we go again. But I'll get your take on that, Coach, and what coach speak may mean here in the Chicago locker room. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text. Stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Laguna's Beach Bar and Grill is home to Pensacola Beach's favorite family destination, Laguna's Adventure Park. At Laguna's, experience the fun of the sun year-round. Fall passes are now available. Purchase your family's fall passes and enjoy unlimited access to the all-new zip rail, ropes course, go-kart, splash pad, clip and climb, and more. All available to you from now until the end of the year. Get all the details and purchase your passes today at lagunaspensacola.beach.com.
Jackson Pace Pharmacy has exciting news for ED patients. Viagra 100 milligram generic is finally here. Get it today. 30 tablets for $80, less than $3 a pill. You heard right. Viagra 100 milligram generic is less than $3 a tablet. A prescription from your doctor is required, so stop by Jackson Pace Pharmacy and cash in on the savings today. 2256 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
About to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Labor Day Monday. I appreciate you guys joining us, whatever you're doing out there. Stay safe, obviously. Keep your distance if you're out and about, and throw on a mask if you're going somewhere where there's a lot of people around. So, hey, look, getting back into this, Coach, we have a ton of NFL news. Obviously, we've talked about some college football as well, and we'll get into some college football coming up as well. But when you look at this, the Miami Dolphins named veteran Ryan Fitzpatrick their starting quarterback. Look, they did it this morning. For me personally, Coach, we've talked about this. Not a big surprise here. Tua Tagovailoa will develop as a backup to begin the season. Now, Brian Flores came out and said, look, a year like this with no OTAs, no mini camp, modified training camp, we felt like this will be the best decision for the team. He's done a good job through the course of training camp, and he'll be out there to start the season. Talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Coach, so once again, the question everybody wants to know is, okay, when is Tua going to start? But first I'll ask you, Coach, this seems like the right move to assure you don't throw a quarterback that maybe not prepared fully out there. He's still, I'm sure he's healed up, but whether it's 100% or not, I have no idea. It seems that he's done a great job. But, Coach, do you agree with the move, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to start the season, especially with his background? And he's done a good job already.
Oh, yeah. I don't think any of us had any doubt, JP, that Fitzpatrick would start the season. And it's the best thing for the football team, number one, and it's the best thing for Tua also. Now, at some point, I think Tua will be on the field. And I think that this may be a situation where you see them start to work a couple of packages in so they can start getting him in the football game getting a feel for it. And maybe not all late in a mop-up type situation, but maybe a few plays, early in the ball game, and a few plays maybe in the third quarter, something like that. We'll see, depending on how the ball game goes. I don't know whether they're attuned to do that. You have to be a special type coaching staff with a special type philosophy to do that, because it interrupts the rhythm of your football team. And you have to get it so close, the rhythm so close between the two quarterbacks, that it's not a detriment to do that. And it would be a tremendous experience to do it. Now, let me throw this out, too, and you're probably going to get to it. But one of the moves that happened along with that, including Miami, which I think is going to turn out to be one of the better moves ever. I think they're positioning themselves for some very, very strong, a very strong future. Tampa Bay Bucks. Tell you what they just did. They just got Josh Rosen on their taxi squad, their developmental squad, whatever you want to call it. Still call it taxi squad. To have a quarterback of that ability, because when he was at UCLA his senior year, he, by many scouts, was considered to be the most NFL ready of any quarterback in college football. Now, I looked at him pretty seriously when he was in college and during the combine and so on. I'll tell you what, he's got a tremendous release. He's got excellent touch on the football. He's got what I consider to be a quarterback feel for the game. He can get the ball in the tight windows. He does a lot of good things. They could end up with an outstanding quarterback on their football team who everybody else had given up on. And he's on the taxi squad or developmental squad right now. So could be a very interesting development out of this whole Miami maneuver.
Yeah, Coach, when you look at Josh Rosen, obviously he is a guy that was thrown into the fire. It was a poor situation in Arizona. Never seemed to get on the same page. And I don't know if I'm going to speak to just personally what I saw. That was it. That's all I know. That they did not put him in a situation to succeed. That's all I'm going to say in that whole realm. That's it. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. When you look at obviously coming over to Miami, a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen. I think, like you, this is a great move for Tampa Bay. Bring him in. By the way, he's going to be behind a guy like Tom Brady. He's going to be with Bruce Arians now. We know what Bruce Arians can do to quarterbacks and helping them out. He's going to be obviously Blaine Gabbert's back there. And a lot of people go, well, it's Blaine Gabbert. But these are veterans. These are veteran guys he's going to be with. And look, Ryan Fitzpatrick's a veteran too, but a little bit different. You look, anytime you can be in the same quarterback room with Tom Brady, and you're a young quarterback, this young man is only 23 years old, and he has already been written off. So, yes, he hasn't performed, but at the same time, it's not just about performance. It's about putting a quarterback in a situation where he can perform. And, Coach, when you look at Josh Rosen, do you believe that he is being truly given that opportunity? Because I go back and look at Arizona, and I just think what a dumpster fire that was. It just – and the psyche that goes with what happened there when you were – one of the top picks, obviously, like you were talking about at UCLA and what he did there. I can't imagine going through just the thought process of it, the mental side of it. Do you believe that he was truly given an opportunity to succeed when he was going to Arizona?
No, I don't. I think that's a good point. I don't think that they utilized him in any way as they should have. And then the mental part of being cast aside. You're drafted the first round by a team, and then you're basically traded away or cut. You discarded. Then the other point that you made, which I think is extremely important, he's going to a football team with a lot of talent, and he's going to be able to learn for 2 years under Tom Brady. Now, let me tell you, that's worth worth millions as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you couldn't get that education any other way than to be in the quarterback rooms with him, be on the field, see how he operates, to be a part of that entire scenario going on at Tampa right now is a tremendous value for this kid. And I think if Tampa just hangs steady, stay with him, let him learn, they're going to have, very shortly, they're going to have an outstanding quarterback with Brady Leaves there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and once again, everything that's involved with that Tampa team right now. Now Josh Rosen's on a team that is going to win some football games and going to play at a high level. And so, look, you're right. I believe it's a great move for Tampa. A lot of people won't realize that, and they'll just cast it aside, say, yeah, that's a good practice squad player. That's fine. But the young man's 23 years old, so he's got plenty of time left in this league. So that's all I'm going to say. But, Coach, when we look at another quarterback situation here, obviously we have a ton of Bears fans in our area. I have a family member that's a Bears fan. But Mitchell Trubisky was named the Chicago Bears starting quarterback on Sunday by Coach Matt Nagy. Nagy stressed that Trubisky won the job over Nick Foles. It was not handed to him, adding that it was his call to make. And he said, look, this was going to be a fair battle for both of these guys. And he said both these guys were really, really battling their tail off every single day. In the end, Mitch won the job, and I think that's very important for him, for us, for everybody to understand that he worked really hard to get to that point. Look, Coach, he goes on to say, Mitch finished the training camp strong, which he thought was really, really great and everything. Nick Foles came out and said, look, he's ready to embrace being a backup, but he's going to continue to start or, push for that starting job. A lot of people, including myself, are a little skeptical to this, that, this could be them putting Trubisky out there and say, he's going to have a short leash. Hey, once he messes up, then it's Nick Foles. They paid him this money to come in here. But at the same time, Coach, there's a lot of people that are saying, wait a minute. Nick Foles, yeah, he went out and what he did with the Eagles was great. But outside of that, he's never truly performed. What say you on this whole situation in Chicago, Coach? You really believing that Mitch Trubisky won the job, and are you believing that Nick Foles could lead a team?
Well, we weren't there, so we can't really comment on whether it's truly a situation where Trubisky won the job outright. I will say this: this is totally expected. There's nothing unexpected about it. They were going to do everything they could to put competition in place and also put in place a backup quarterback so that they could get the hook out and take Trubisky out. Now, if they take him out for Foles, he's done. I think he's done. That'll be the end of his career. Certainly be the end of his career in Chicago. But above and beyond that, they have paid a big, big price for drafting Mitchell Trubisky. Now, keep this in mind. When I say a big price, I'm not talking about just the money. I'm talking about the draft capital. Where you drafted the kid, where you drafted him, moved up to drafting, and had the quarterbacks come in behind him. It makes them look awfully bad from an administrative standpoint. Pressure is coming down on anybody involved in making football decisions. We want Mitchell Trubisky to be our quarterback and be successful. That's why you're here. That's why you were brought here. That's your job. Because we cannot stand the content. They're getting hammered down by the press, obviously. And they paid a pretty good price. They continue to pay the price. But they're paying a publicity price as well. Meaning the press is really, really killing them. They want to get themselves out of this hole they're in, and the best way they can have that happen is to have Trubisky come on and have a good year and have success, and the football team have success. If that happens, the fans are going to forget, and the fans will get off their back. But other than that, they're going to continue to pay this price, and it's not going to be pretty for coaches, unfortunately, and maybe even some some people in administration. So you're talking about a big, big matter of burden on certain people here that they've got to try to get off their backs. Now, I'm just going to tell you, that is the biggest thing going in Chicago right now. That's why they have to put Mitchell Trubisky out there, and they have to give him the best chance to be successful that they can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because look, everything that you've said is on point, Coach. Mitchell Trubisky was your guy. He's still your guy, and you got to hope it's going to work out. Don't halfway do anything here with Mitch Trubisky, because like you said, once you pull him out, he's done. And we know that, look, not everybody is built the exact same. You got to have some thick skin to play professional sports, obviously, but Trubisky's been a guy that the mental capacity, I think, is where he lacks. I think he's proved that he can go out and play, but it's that mental side, which is the toughest. People think it's easy just to go out there. The mental side of any sport is the toughest. But I hope it works out. And for Bears fans, look, they're running out of time with that defense, so they got to figure out something on offense. I'm skeptical if Nick Foles could truly go out and lead a team, because, look, we saw what he's done outside of just what he did leading that team for the Eagles, and he did a great job, make this very clear. But outside of that, where has he proven that he can do it? Hey, who knows? So you know what? He won a Super Bowl. It's better than I've got, and he's playing in the NFL. We'll talk about all that later on. But when we come back, Coach, got to take a quick break here, our final break. We'll talk about some teams. We'll talk about Alabama, maybe a little bit of Clemson, some things that they're struggling with coming into camp and coming into the regular season. Remember, SEC starts September 26th. ACC starts this coming weekend, as well as the Big 12. So, hey, we're getting some football. And tonight, don't forget, BYU Navy coming on ESPN at 7 o'clock. But when we come back, we'll talk about Alabama and some problems they may be facing coming into the season. All that and more right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
At Costello's Butcher Shop and Deli, you'll find a great selection of specialty and exotic meats. From choice Wagyu, competition-grade briskets, pork, and the seasonings to go with it, all cut to order. From fine wine to cheese and desserts. Yes, delicious fresh cannolis to order. And Costello's has Boar's Head lunch sandwiches from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Stop in today for one of the area's best butcher shop meats and top deli items. It's Costello's Butcher Shop and Deli, a great place to meet up on the west side of Pensacola.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
The greatest name in sports radio is ESPN. Wherever you have Alexa, you can hear ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Just say,
Alexa, enable ESPN Pensacola 1330 skill.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Labor Day Monday afternoon. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hopefully you're doing well, staying safe. Reminder again, BYU takes on Navy tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Got to tune in for that. Labor Day matchup, college football matchup. I don't care who's playing. I made that very clear. I watched some games that I would not normally watch, and you know what? I'm happy with it. I've been watching a ton of high school football as well. So, hey, getting my fill, and you know what? It's well worth it. So, Coach, talking about some college football, some teams, obviously, we're talking about that. Look, some high regards in teams like Clemson, Alabama. Obviously, Ohio State's not playing, so it comes down to Georgia, Florida, some of these other teams. What about Notre Dame? What about North Carolina coming up? And how about some other teams that are up and coming now? Got some new coaching staffs in place, like Florida State. I do want to start with Alabama here. One of the questions coming in, Coach, I think a lot of people – I have no question. I think the quarterback situation is going to be just fine for the Crimson Tide. I think you look at Mac Jones coming into this season, a lot of people are like, yeah, but I want to see him lead this team. I think stepping in for Tua Tagovailoa last year, just remember the mindset, being able to turn it on, flip that switch. Nobody had an idea that Tua was going to get injured in that game, and he came in, did a good job, and finished out the season pretty well with a bowl win. So, look, Bryce Young's there as well, the 5-star, the youngster, the freshman from Maitre D. So, look, this is a good situation. Offensively, I think they're going to be great. Najee Harris is coming back, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. They're going to be just fine. The question is defense. So, when you look at this, Coach, obviously defensive coordinator Pete Golding is there now. They've got him some help. They brought in Charlie Strong to be an analyst to kind of give some more insight because Charlie Strong is a good defensive coach. Now, head coach is a little bit different story, but, you know, I'm just saying. Ask Texas fans, they'll tell you. But when you look at this, Coach, the defense, now in the secondary, they're replacing 4 of their 5 starters. This is interesting. Look, we know, obviously, Dylan Moses and them are coming back. That front 7 is going to be really good. But obviously, to play in the SEC, you better have a secondary. Now, they are bringing back Patrick Surtain, which is great. They've got Malachi Moore back there. Job's back there as well. They've got some good players. Obviously, we talk about this with Georgia. You know, everybody says, yeah, Georgia lost all these guys, but they recruit well. Well, Alabama's been recruiting well for quite some time. So, Coach, when you look at the Crimson Tide here, do you believe, obviously we talk about it on offense, they should be just fine. Do you believe that this defense with Pete Golding and bringing over Charlie Strong, that they'll be able to turn it around this year and be looking at possibly a national championship?
Yes, I do. And look, all you have to really look at is one thing defensively. Now, they're going to get some help. And there'll be some challenging conversation that Saban will like. But really all you have to do is look at one person they have there, that's Nick Saban. He's going to have a good defense. And he's going to be personally involved in it. He's going to do a lot of the hands-on coaching and certainly the game planning strategically and adjustments as they go through the ball game. So, yes, Alabama's going to be fine defensively, and they're going to be a good football team. And I like Jones, by the way. I really like Jones as a quarterback.
Yes, I agree with you, Coach. Hearing people talk about Mac Jones, I think there's some indecision, and that's just fine. But remember, this young man is at Alabama. He was a quarterback at Alabama, getting recruited by Alabama. So, obviously, he's a pretty good player. And watching him come in, and I know Obviously, the 2 pick sixes against Auburn, you know what, he's going to learn from that. But look outside. Look at his stats outside of that as well. He came in and performed. I mean, he did everything he could. In the bowl game, he played extremely well. I mean, look, and once again, Bryce Young is there, so it gives him time to obviously acclimate and learn the system and everything like that. But Mac Jones, you were in good hands. Remember, Najee Harris came back, who could have easily went to the NFL last year and been drafted in the first few rounds. So this is a team that I think will get it together. And by the way, Alabama opens up their season September 26th on the road right there at Missouri. So, hey, you know what? Crimson Tide fans, you're going to be just fine, and I'm sure you guys know that. But for all the naysayers out there, it is what it is. But, Coach, look, that sound means it's time for us to go. As usual, we didn't get to everything. But you know what? We'll do it again tomorrow, but it's been an absolute pleasure, Coach.
You bet. Enjoyed it, JP, and look forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely, Coach. Appreciate it. And, Coach, have a great Labor Day as well as everybody else out there. Stay safe. We'll be back same time talking some football with you right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brillante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The College Football Podcast with Herbie and Pollock. Now here's your host, Kevin Nagandi.
It is Thursday, September 3rd, and the FBS schedule in college football begins tonight.